not rage bait.
Alright. I want to see how good you are at that. I don't believe in God. So by that fucking definition, you're gonna go to prove God's existence to me?
Yeah.
He's gonna go on the
morality.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use the...
Whatever.
Yeah, sure. So, like, you don't believe in God. I assume you think rape is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me how you know that if God doesn't exist?
Because it's against their will.
Okay.
It's an evil thing to do.
Well, so you have two claims here. So number one is against their will, and number two, it's evil. So number two is just going to be thrown out because you're presupposing the exact thing that I'm calling into question. So this is irrelevant. Number one, you said that it's against their will. Can you tell me, like, how you know doing things that are against people's will? How is that wrong? How you know that's wrong?
This is retarded. Like, what?
Well, okay, yeah. Like, it's just wrong, bro. There's no need
Hold
to
on.
go, like, too
So
deep into it.
wait, hold on.
Literally-
Wait, hold on. Stop. No, hold on. Nobody else speak except for Discord. So go ahead, Discord. What were you saying?
It's just wrong. I don't really want to get it. Like, I don't want to get down to like the fucking microscopic level of this.
Well, hold on.
You know it's wrong. We all know it's wrong.
Well, hold on. If we're having a debate where we're establishing our beliefs, you're gonna, like, I don't want you to do this thing where it's like you want to maintain on the surface level conversation. No, we have to actually power through this. It's called a discussion, right? So the problem here
is 25.
the problem here is that, like, if you don't believe in God, but you're saying it's just wrong, that means automatically, in my opinion, what you're doing here is you're just appealing to like a subjective standard, right? The problem here is that somebody who believes that rape is good, they're just as valid as you, right? So for example, if I ask you, if I'm standing in between two people and you say rape is bad and the other person says rape is good, and I ask you, well, how do you know rape is...
No, I get it. I understand. You don't have to break it down.
Okay.
I get that, you know.
Well, yeah, well, the point is that
everything it's subjective, yeah. I
right,
get
so
it.
they're just
One
as valid as
person's good,
you.
it's another person's evil.
Yeah,
Right.
so they're just as valid as you.
But okay.
Wait,
So
hold on.
this
Let
is
me make the question.
I wanna
Let me
talk
formulate.
about,
Wait. Let me formulate the question, right? So the question becomes, right? This is, if one person says rape is good and the other person says rape is bad, this violates one of the three rules of logic, right? There's the law of excluded middle, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of identity, right? The law of non-contradiction is being violated here. A can't also equal not A, right? One of you has to be wrong. So how do we know who's right and who's wrong if one person says rape is good and the other person says rape is bad?
You just said there's
obviously
no
the
right
rapist. Dude, I just want to debate of whether you like the God's existence. I don't want to get into.
Well,
like,
so that's what I'm.
The thing is, okay, this is the part where it's like it's common. It's pretty much common sense, right?
Well, here's the issue.
Like,
the other person is just as valid. They could just say it's common sense that rape is good, right? So, for example, let's say we have a society of 100,000 people that said rape is bad, and we had another society of 100,000 people that says rape is good. In both societies,
it's subjective.
Well, hold on. In both societies,
wait,
stop. Well, stop. In both societies, they would say it's just common sense, because in both societies it is just common sense, right? So again, you still haven't answered the question. How do we know who's right and who's wrong?
Okay. I get it. I understand the argument that you're trying to make, or you are making. But I want to talk about.
I haven't even made an argument yet. I just asked a question.
Yes, you have. You're asking questions that has nothing to do with
but
original fucking.
Yeah, sure. I'll explain to you the relevance. Yeah, wait, hold on, wait. I'll explain to you the relevance. I'll give you the relevance, right? I'll relate this to God, right? So I'll relate this to God, right? I haven't made an argument. An argument are premises that naturally lead to a conclusion. I'm about to give you the premises here, right? So premise one is without. Stop talking. Premise one is without God, objective morality cannot exist. Premise 2, objective morality does exist. Conclusion, therefore God must exist. If you disagree with this, that's fine, but you would be disagreeing here with premise 2, to which I'm just going to ask you, how do you know rape, pedophilia, stealing, genocide, slavery, fucking lying? How do you know that anything is actually wrong absent God?
It's wrong.
Right, but that doesn't make any sense. Okay, wait, hold on. Discord. That makes no sense. Discord, that makes no sense. That's called circular reasoning. I ask you, how do you know rape is wrong? Because it's wrong. Yeah, how do you know that? Because it's wrong. Yeah, how do you know that? Because it's right. It's circular reasoning. The premise is the premise assumes the conclusion. It's circular reasoning. It makes no sense.
Okay. I'll tell you how I know that. It's because throughout my entire life, society has told me slavery is wrong, rape is wrong, murder is wrong. That's how I know it's wrong.
Okay.
And I agree with that sentiment.
This doesn't. Sure, this doesn't work. This doesn't.
But I'm
wait.
Yeah,
I understand. I understand your answer. Well, hold on. It does. It does. It does. Right. So it does. I'll explain to you why that's dumb, and I'll explain to you how it does relate to God. Number one, that doesn't work because if you're justifying rape by just saying, well, if a society dictates that it's fine, then rape is perfectly fine to do, which means according to you, like in our society, you say slavery, you say that in our society we decided that slavery is wrong, but that's not true. Once upon a time, slavery against black people was perfectly fine to do according to the society. According to society, limiting women's rights and autonomy in said society was perfectly fine to do. Your logic is just because your logic. Wait, stop. Let me finish. Your logic is your logic is legal equals moral. Just because something is legal or illegal doesn't equal moral. Well, you said society.
I agree with what you're. Yeah, no. I'm just saying that's how I know rape is wrong.
Well, that's not knowledge then.
I'm literally just saying how I know how it's wrong.
Right, but that doesn't. Discord, that doesn't work because.
Look, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. I agree with you. You know, it's like
okay, wait. If you can't say if you agree with me and I'm literally telling you that you're wrong. Are you admitting that you're wrong?
No. Okay, no, I'm not wrong because I know. I'm agreeing with you. I've been thinking about the same. Okay, look. Let me talk. Let me explain myself because you've been talking over me. All right, let me explain myself. All right, I understand what you're talking about. I know that society, like, it's subjective morality, right? You know, just because one person says this is good, another person might say this is bad. You know, how do you underline?
How do you know that they're wrong? Yeah.
Good or not? Right, and that's your argument with me.
No, Justin, not Justin.
Well, Discord, I'm asking, how do you know that they're wrong? If there's another society or another person said rape was bad, how do you know that they're wrong?
I know, okay, based on that simple question, right, how do I know it's wrong? My answer would be because society told me it's wrong.
Okay, Discord.
You know it's wrong.
Discord.
Yes.
Discord. This is fucking dumb, okay? Discord.
How?
According to your logic, this is what's called an appeal to majority fallacy. It is a logical. Wait, stop talking. I can explain. I'm answering your question. Stop talking. Right? So this is what's called an appeal to majority fallacy. It's a logical fallacy. According to your logic, if our society right now decided tomorrow that raping women is completely fine to do, you would think it's completely fine to do.
What the fuck?
I agree with. Yeah, I know. I agree with that. If I lived in a fucking
hold on. Hard for Cassidy. This is why I start to get rude because niggas are retarded. They say this dumbass shit. I'm glad you're here to witness it.
I'm asking you a question. What's the alternative to that then?
God.
How do you know what anything's?
God.
I don't. That's a good fucking. All right.
God. Wait, hold on. Right, so the answer
but that still doesn't like fucking. That doesn't like disprove like fucking God. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on. I can answer this. So Discord.
So
Discord. I can answer this. Right. So Discord. The issue here is that we have what's called Occam's razor. Have you heard of this? It's fine if you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Occam's razor is just the most likely assumption is the assumption that we go off of based off of the evidence, the preponderance of evidence that we have, right? We come to the most likely conclusion based off of a preponderance of evidence, right? So, for example, if you and I were inside of a room, right, like it's like just an empty room, right, and outside of the room we hear a moo sound, right? So we're inside of the room, and then you go, hey, what do you think that sound was? And I say, well, obviously that was a cat. And then you say, well, no, obviously that was a cow. And I'm like, okay, well, what makes you think that? It's like, well, obviously that was a cow because based off of the evidence that we heard, it was a moo and cows moo, so we know it's a cow. And I go, well, you can't prove that. You know, you don't know that. You can't prove that. We open the door, and lo and behold, it's a fucking cow, right? The point is that ultimately you can't actually prove it's a cow until we open the door, but you have justified reason to believe that it is a cow based off of the evidence that you were given, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's my
I'm
take on
super.
it.
Wait, we're almost there. I promise we're almost there. We're almost there, right? So.
Never mind, I give up.
Wait, no. Hold on, wait. Don't do it. Stop. Grow up. I'm almost there. Stop talking. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If you wanna quit, that's fine after this. But I'm just gonna explain to you this concept. So the point is that we can't 100% prove anything in reality, right? You can't even prove that you're alive right now. You can't prove that you're actually having this conversation right now. You can't prove that reality is real, that we're existing, right? We could just be brains in the vat. We could be.
You're just like a crazy homeless man that was off the street.
We could. If you stop talking, I could explain to you why, right? I'm explaining it to you. Shut the fuck up and stop. Just listen, okay? Ultimately, you can't 100%. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Shut up and just shut up. Just shut up, okay? So ultimately, you can't prove anything in reality 100%. You can come close to 100%. Exactly, right? Exactly. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So given that's the case, when you say something as stupid
So
as stop. When you can't no, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying based off of the premises that we were given, we have most likely to believe that God exists. There's evidence given, unless you have an argument against it, which you don't. So my argument holds.
Okay, when I asked you the question, right? My original fucking, like, what I was thinking of is like the fucking basis of faith, right? I don't understand why Christianity has to base their.
Why are you saying anything about Christianity when I haven't mentioned Christianity at all in my argument?
Because the conversation is about God, bro.
So is Christianity the only religion on the planet? Is Christianity the only religion on the planet? I haven't mentioned religion at all. So I don't know why you're bringing up Christianity. It's fallacious as hell. I haven't said Christianity or Jesus not one time. I haven't said anything about Christianity. You're the one that brought up Christianity, but okay. I just said God.
Okay, bro.
It's fallacious, not an argument, dog. Like, but the point is that you don't have an argument.
It's okay, it's alright.
I know it's okay. I know.
Yeah, it's okay, bro. It's alright.
But anyways, do you have an argument or a rebuttal?
No, I don't want to argue.
GG's.
I don't want to argue.
Oh well, GG's. I'm glad you believe in God now, bro. GG's. I'm not gonna lie, Discord. You saying that if society tomorrow saying rape is good, now it's actually good, and you would believe that is insane, dog. I'm not gonna lie. That's a crazy take.
No. What I was saying is I agree with what you were saying. Like
I wasn't saying anything. I was asking a question.
No, you were saying morality fucking basis is based on what society says, right?
No, I wasn't.
So
that's what your logic was. That was your logic.
What the fuck was the point of all of that, bro? You were going along like in a fucking 5-minute tangent about that shit, bro. What was the point of bringing it up?
Because I was showing you the flaw in your logic. That was the point. Using your own logic, I was demonstrating you the flaw.
What was my logic?
I'm gonna make it super simple for you. Super simple. You verbatim said, I know. Stop saying and just listen. You said, I know X thing is wrong. Bro, stop so I can land the plane. Stop talking. Stop talking.
No, go ahead.
Well, you have to stop saying because I get distracted. Stop. Okay, so that being said, you verbatim said that. Bro, you gotta stop so I can land the plane.
No, go ahead.
Okay, wait. Genuinely, I don't usually do this, but if you're just gonna keep doing this, then if you're actually not interested, you're just trolling, and I'm just gonna remove you. You gotta stop.
No.
Okay, then stop. Okay. Genuinely, right? You said verbatim, I know X thing is wrong because society said so. Which means if society said that X thing is right, X equals rape, logically, you would agree with that.
What's the alternative? I'm just basing off of.
So the alternative. Yeah, the alternative is super easy. We know rape is wrong because the guy who knows everything said so.
What's up?
It's that easy. It's that simple. What's the argument against it? What's the argument?
It's the fact that it might not be real, the Bible.
Nobody said anything about the Bible! Why is he bringing up the Bible? Hard for Cassidy! Please tell me, why is he bringing up the Bible? No one said anything about the Bible!
Okay, then when you said the big man,
no one said. Oh, Discord. Can you acknowledge I haven't brought up Christianity not a single time in my argument? Not one time did I say anything about Jesus or the Bible or Christianity at all.
I said God, bro.
Yeah, God doesn't equal Christianity. Newsflash, dog. There's 100+ religions on the planet, bro. I don't know. I haven't said anything about the Bible. Why is he bringing up the Bible?
Okay, when you said the big man said it's wrong, usually when people say that, they're referring to the Bible.
Is Christianity the only religion on the planet?
Okay, then how else would they do it?
Say what?
If God said that rape was wrong, how else would he send?
Yeah, sure. This could be super. This could be. Yeah, sure. Well, again. Do you think that Christianity is the only religion on the planet?
You're fucking backtracking into that.
Backtrack.
Answer the question. Yeah, nigga, I know. No shit, it's not the only fucking religion. Bro. Come on now. This is like fucking next level gaslighting. I can't be serious.
Yeah, bro, I think he's rage baiting you, Discord.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's.
The thing is that he swears he's not.
This nigga is so annoying.
Which is crazy.
It makes no sense. Why does he keep bringing up Christianity? I didn't say anything about Christianity. But anyways, to answer your question, yeah, so it's just gonna come in the form of like two different ways, right? It can be what do you call it, divine intuition, or it can be I won't say divinely revealed because this can imply religion, but it can just be through divine intuition, right? For example, right, like let's take somebody who's not a part of this. Let's take like Hard for Cassidy, for example, right? Hard for Cassidy, for example, Hard for Cassidy, do you believe in God actually? Okay, so here's the thing, right? Even though you don't believe in God, even if you weren't able to properly articulate it, right? Even if you weren't able to present any argument, I assume you just have a gut feeling, a gut intuition that rape is wrong, even if you couldn't put into words, right? It just seems wrong, obviously, right? And same for slavery and genocide and murder and theft. You just have that gut feeling that it's wrong, even if you couldn't put it into words. And so the argument here is that this is just going to come in the form of divine intuition, where that intuition that you got, that comes from God, is what the argument would be. So it can be divinely revealed through there.
Yeah, okay, but what about like fucking even like back then when fucking murder and like rape was normalized, you know, like slavery. I don't think like fucking masters, you know, felt bad about fucking owning slaves, right? Like it's just.
Okay, so my question to you is this: how is this relevant to anything I just said?
Because you're talking about fucking divine intro. Never mind, bro.
Yeah, never mind. Because what you said, it's like if I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Cassidy or whatever. It's like if I were to say, hey, what's your favorite color? And this guy were to go, I like trains. That's the equivalent to what he just did. Like he just said something completely irrelevant to what I just said. Like it just went completely off topic.
You're
but okay.
talking about divine intervention.
No, I haven't said divine intervention. I said intuition.
Intuition.
Oh, thank you.
God damn,
Okay.
Bro.
Yeah, okay.
Holy
You got it right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
W fucking rage bait. Nigga is different.
Like, why do you get
I'm
so
perfectly
excited?
calm. My volume
No,
volume doesn't equate to my emotional state. I can be calm and loud at the same time. But okay. But anyways, yeah, no. So in regards to this, right? Like these guys can the people who are doing like wrong acts or whatever and don't have that intuition, You could argue like a couple of things here, right? So number one, you could argue like there are some slave owners who also like knew in their hearts that it was bad or whatever, genuinely, and there are other slave owners who try to use religion against the black people to kind of justify their slavery as if it was commands from God or allowed by God, which in the Old Testament it was, by the way. But in regards to this, yeah, no. So what this tells me here is that these slave owners are just going to believe in some sort of divine command theory of ethics, which just is the case that whatever God says is good is going to be good. I just want to remind you here that, like, you don't have an argument against this, right? So, like, for example, if I believed in divine command theory and I said that, like, if God said rape is good, then it's good. Right? The guy who knows every single thing in the entire universe said rape is good, then it's good. What's your argument against this? What argument could you possibly have against this? Who are you to argue with God? Like, what? The guy who knows everything.
I don't want to. Okay.
You don't want to, or you can't?
I don't want to, Nick. Okay.
You don't want to, or you can't?
Chill out for a second.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
I can't.
Oh, okay. All right. As long as we're being honest.
Look. When I said, do you believe in God? Primarily, like my reason for not believing in God is because it doesn't make sense. It's like, it's solely focused on faith. And to me, that's just such a fucking like extreme way of like basing an entire fucking way of life, right? So what I think, if God was real, I think the smartest thing to do would for him to come down on earth and say, hey, I'm real. If you do what I say, you go to heaven. If you don't, you go to hell. You understand?
Last time he did that, he got crucified, but according to the Christians. But yeah. So I see what you're saying. But anyways, so sure. So let me respond to this, right? I'll make it super simple for you, right? Once again, premise one. I'm giving you the argument for God, right? Premise one: objective morality cannot exist without God. Premise 2, objective morality does exist. Conclusion, therefore God must exist. This is evidence that leads to a conclusion. Premises that naturally lead to a conclusion. If you don't have an argument against this yet still don't accept it, then you're just having cognitive dissonance. You're being willfully ignorant. What's your argument against this? What's the argument?
What's the question?
Premise 1, without God, objective morality cannot exist. Premise 2.
Okay, why not?
Say what?
Why not? For the first one, why not? Why do you think that we need to have objective morality because of God?
Because where else? Yeah, sure. So this is just gonna. Okay, so this is just going to put forth the idea that there are moral facts in the same way that there are scientific facts, right? Now, scientific facts come from somewhere. We know this, we can study them, right? We have the scientific process, we have hypotheses, we can come to like inductive and deductive reasoning, rationale, different forms of logic, paraconsistent logic, classical logic, fuzzy logic, etc., etc. We can use these to come to scientific inferences and conclusions, right? The problem is that science can't prove the metaphysical. Science can only prove the physical, right? It can't prove the metaphysical. Science can't prove the existence of metaphysical concepts, such as morality. Science is not going to prove morality, right? However, there are moral facts. These moral facts have to come from somewhere. They couldn't come from anywhere else other than God, right? If you disagree with this, that's fine. Where else could these moral facts come from? Also, I like how he asked me the question and then is yawning through the answer, by the way. Like,
bro,
I'm sorry it's not I'm sorry your brain only operates on yes or no, black or white questions, but these answers are extremely nuanced and you have to have like a certain level of intellect to engage in this topic.
Yeah, from my perspective, bro, it just sounds like you're fucking tossing a bunch of big words, bro. Big vocabulary, scary words.
Yeah, so this is, so, oh my god, so you're literally admitting to being too stupid to engage with the argument. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
No, I admit I'm not fucking intelligent, bro. I'm not fucking a genius, bro.
Your words are too big. I don't understand. Personal incredulity fallacy, by the way. This is a logical fallacy called personal incredulity.
Professional, fucking effective conversation. If you just keep shit simple, like truly, it's just.
Wait. It was my fault. I thought you were capable of keeping up with the discussion. My bad.
Yeah, my fault, bro.
It's alright. We don't all fucking like debate people.
Study philosophy for 3 years? Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a cool cat.
But yeah, I mean, I made it super simple. I gave you the premises and the conclusion. Like, that's as simple as it can get. It's just the moral argument for God's existence. It's been around for centuries. Like.
Yeah, obviously, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is you don't have a rebuttal to this. You don't have an argument against this. So I don't understand why you don't believe in God now.
No, deadass is because I can't fucking understand what you're saying. It goes in one ear, out the other, honestly. It's just
without God, objective morality cannot exist.
Like
objective morality does exist, therefore God exists. Super simple.
Okay.
So, what? You just heard it.
Without.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Stop. Let it sink in. Wait. Let it sink in. Discord, let it sink in. Without God, objective morality cannot exist. Objective morality does exist. Therefore, God must exist. Wait. Let that sink in. Wait. Let it sink in. Think about it. Let it bobble around in your mind.
Wait.
Now that you've heard it, now that I've dumbed it down and you heard it, what is the argument against it? What is the argument?
Yes.
Why is he moaning?
What's the argument? What's the argument against it?
Okay. Yes.
Wait, hold on. He's about to hit us with some words of wisdom. What's the argument against it? What's the argument?
Yes.
He doesn't have one. He's brain broken. It's crazy. I dumbed it down to its simplest reduction.
You broke my brain, bro.
Well, hey, listen. Do you have so Discord, listen. There's this concept called the burden of rejoinder. It's just the ability, it's just the responsibility that you have to refute or rebut or respond to an argument. Via the unfulfillment of this burden, then you concede via that.
Yeah.
So you concede to the argument.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, GG's. I'm glad you believe in God now.
Yeah. Amen.